Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props, a couple hard blocks and a soft block will likely come in handy. And I'll invite you to get started in any comfortable seated position. If you'd rather start on the back or in child's pose or something like that, you can do that as well. And take a few moments just to get comfortable here. Settle the hips, gently start to lengthen the spine. And start to soften anything you don't need here. Perhaps closing down the eyes, resting the hands wherever they feel the most comfortable. If anything needs a little movement before you find your stillness, then go for it. And as you're ready, inviting that stillness, that steadiness, that quiet. From your stillness, as you feel ready, gently start to deepen the breath. With each inhale, exploring a sense of space, a sense of lightness in the body. With each exhale, perhaps a sense of release, a sense of grounding, a sense of heaviness. And you don't have to move on from here until you feel ready. You can stay in stillness and work with your breath for as long as it serves you. Otherwise, when you feel ready to, we'll head to a tabletop position. If you need to shake anything out first, go for it, or if you need something along the way. Eventually setting yourself up with the hands roughly underneath shoulders and the knees roughly underneath the hips. Make sure this feels comfortable. You can work from a fist if working from the palm doesn't work. And then when you're ready with an inhale breath, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space, lift the gaze. And then as you exhale, reverse it, bring the chin towards the chest, dome the upper back as you press the floor away with the hands. Inhale breath, release, lengthen the front body. And then exhale, reverse it, lengthen the back body. And keep flowing with your breath at your pace. And if your body's asking for anything extra, feel free to add on here. Last couple breaths. Your next inhale, return to a tabletop position, and then separate the knees a little bit wider apart, sink the hips towards the heels, and lower the chest down to find your child's pose. See if you'd benefit from any extra support here. You can use any props that you like. You can keep the arms extended forward, or if you prefer, bring the hands together and then bend the elbows, pointing the fingertips towards the ceiling, perhaps adding a stretch for the shoulders, the triceps. Notice if your breath has changed in the shape. And without forcing anything, see if you can continue to breathe those long, smooth inhales and long, smooth exhales. We'll stay in child's pose a little while longer, so if you need to add some padding for the knees or anything, go for it. If the elbows are bent, you can re-extend the arms long down the mat, and then press the hands down just to lift the chest enough that you can slide the right arm underneath the left. I'm finding a version of thread the needle here. So check in to see what you need from this shape, maybe adding a support for under the head or maybe under the shoulder. Top arm can stay where it is. If you prefer to bring the left hand on top of the right, that might feel good as well. Breathing into your twist. Space with each inhale. And grounding with each exhale. And to release, start by bringing the left hand towards the top of the mat and gently brace to unravel the spine. The right hand can join the left, and then straight away, when you're ready, you can reach the left arm underneath. And see what this side needs. Maybe it feels a little different, so take your time adding some support. And if you did so on the first side, if it feels okay here, you might bring the right hand on top of the left once again. As you're ready, release the right hand back towards the top of the mat and gently brace to help yourself unravel. The left arm can reach forward as well, and then pull the body through down onto the belly. Untuck the toes. Take a moment to get comfortable here. And then you can take the hands off the mat and maybe slightly forward as well. You can work from fingertips, or you can have the palms flat to the floor. And toes tucked or untucked. And then inhale breath, lift up for a strange cobra, open the heart space. As you exhale, dip the right shoulder, gently twisting towards the left. Inhale up through center, and then second side. And keep going, your breath, your pace. Last couple each side. Last inhale to lift, and then exhale to gently lower. You can plant the hands back down by the sides and then press up to a tabletop position. And spread the fingers nice and wide. Gently grip the finger pads into the mat. And with the toes tucked under, start to lift the hips up and back in space. Come and find your downward facing dog. Give the legs a little movement here. Maybe pedal out the heels. Sway the hips. Rock the shoulders. Do whatever you need to do. And take your time to set up the proportions that work best for today as well, so you can play with having the hands and feet closer together or further. Maybe the hands closer to one another, or the feet. And see if you can find a sense of stability through the wrists and through the shoulders. Eventually coming to find your stillness in the shape. Let the head be nice and heavy. Notice your breath here. All right. From your downward facing dog, with an inhale, look forward and bend the knees. And then as you exhale, start to walk the feet towards the hands. And we'll find a forward fold near the top of the mat. And take your time to set up. If you'd rather have the hands to blocks or be in more of a halfway lift shape, if that's better for the low back, then go for it. You can also bend the knees as much as you need to make this feel less effortful. Maybe a little movement here as well to set up. You can pedal through the knees, you can rock the spine, the head. If you'd like to add a bind, maybe hands to opposite elbows, adding a little more weight for the spine. Awesome. From your forward fold, as you feel ready, gently release the arms. You can bring your hands to blocks, or you can have the hands to the shins. Either way, blocks near the top of the mat might come in handy. When you're ready with an inhale, find a halfway lift, lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, sigh and fold back in. And twice more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. And then a little different. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, and we'll come and find chair pose. So from your chair pose, hands can be in the lap or hands can come to prayer. More challenge, you can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Find a depth that feels sustainable. Make sure you're still breathing here. If you want to add on a little movement, take a deep inhale, reach the fingertips, and then both hands to the left as you exhale for a gentle twist. Inhale, reach up, and then to the right. 3 more each side if you're with me. Last one each side. Awesome. Inhale, reach up, and then hinge forward, forward fold. Halfway lift to lengthen, and then plant the palms and step to plank pose, top of a push-up. Knees lifted or lowered, pressing the hands into the floor. Deep inhale. Stay here for the exhale. Notice the back line of the body. One more inhale, and lower all the way down. Untuck the toes. 3 rounds of cobra. Inhale, breath, lift. Hands soften. 2 more. Inhale for tabletop. And exhale to find downward facing dog. And from your down dog, with an inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. With your exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. Gently lower the left knee to the floor. And set yourself up here. A block for each hand, or you can work from fingertips. You can also pat the back knee if it feels a little sensitive. And take a moment to set yourself. And then with an inhale breath, open the front body, maybe broaden the chest. And then as you exhale, send the hips back, front leg can extend. Inhale forward to your lunge. And then exhale to your half split. And keep going with your breath. Last couple. Awesome. Inhale to your lunge, and then pause. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then spin the left heel to the floor so left toes are pointing towards the left. You can cartwheel the arms, and we'll come and find a warrior two shape. So take your time to set yourself up here. You can, again, play with the relationship between the front and back foot. Find what feels the most stable. And we're not going to stay in stillness today. We're going to take it straight to a flow. So from here, as you inhale, reverse the warrior, negotiate the ceiling and reach the top arm up and over. And then as you exhale, right elbow towards the right knee, left arm reaches up and over. Inhale, come on up. And exhale, come on down. We'll do 5 more. Move with your breath at your pace and find a range of motion that feels good here. Last full round. Inhale, reverse warrior. This time extend the front leg. And then as you exhale, come forward. And then hinge for triangle. Right hand, shin, block floor. Left hand, hip, maybe up towards the ceiling. And check in with your shape, see if anything needs an adjustment or a little more support. And then breathe here. Feet stay anchoring to the floor. Spine is long. And chest is broad. Gaze can be wherever feels the most comfortable. Awesome. From your triangle, reach the top arm towards the front, and then turn the chest down. We'll step forward to a forward fold. And see what you need here. You can be in halfway lift again. Move out the hips, the knees, the spine. And when you're ready, come and find your stillness. And if for any reason being in a forward fold isn't working right now, then feel free to take a squat instead. In a few moments, we'll sit up for another round of chair pose. If you'd rather stay where you are and then join after, you're welcome to do that too. Otherwise, take the hands to the shins. We'll take one round of breath. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Sigh and fold. Now to transition, inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. And then bend the knees, sink the hips. Any version of chair pose here. If you're coming with me for the flow, reach the arms, inhale, and hands to the right as you exhale. Inhale, center, and to the left. We'll do 3 more each side. Last one each side. Inhale, reach up. Hinge forward, forward fold. Wherever you are, inhale, halfway lift. And plant the palms and step to plank pose. Deep inhale. And press the floor away as you exhale. Deep inhale. Zip up the inside line of the legs as you exhale. And then one more inhale. And lower down. and 3 cobras. Inhale for tabletop, and exhale for downward facing dog. And take a couple of breaths here, stillness or movement. Only when you feel ready to move on again, with an inhale breath, lift the left leg up behind you. As you exhale, and step the left foot forward between the hands, lower the back knee, and setting up your low lunge shape. So take a moment to add padding, adjust your proportions, hands maybe to blocks. Inhale breath, open the front body, lift the gaze. Exhale breath, hips back, front leg can extend, and then flow with your breath. Last couple. Inhale breath, come forward, and then pause. Lift the back knee, spin the back heel to the floor. Straight away, you can adjust your shape any way you need. When you're ready, cartwheel up, and we'll find a warrior 2. And take a moment to set yourself here. Find a shape that feels grounded. And again, we'll go straight into movement. So with an inhale breath, reverse, lift the left arm high any amount. With your exhale, left elbow towards the left knee, right arm up and over. And then with your breath, last few. Last round like this. Inhale, reverse warrior. This time extend the front leg. And exhale, reach forward and hinge to find your triangle. Left hand, shin, block floor. Right hand, hip or ceiling. Adjust anything you need to here. Find a sense of stability. Make sure you can still breathe deeply, otherwise feel free to back out. Awesome. A little different. Right arm can reach up and over, and turn the chest to the floor, bring the hands down, and this time step back, downward facing dog. And feel free to stay or take a flow, or join me in child's pose. Knees together or separate this time. Chest, arms extend, lower to the floor. Add in any props. Feel free to modify your shape in any way you need. As you find your stillness, bring your attention to the gentle flow of your breath. And from your child's pose, taking the next 6 or 7 breaths, we'll eventually meet in down dog. And so you can either stay here, or if you want to flow or cat-cow a few rounds, if there is any other shape or movement that the body's asking for. Awesome. And from your downward facing dog, inhale, lift the right leg up behind, and then step the right foot just outside the right hand, and we'll dip the left knee down to the floor just to set up here. We'll set for a lizard twist, so you can take the left hand a little bit to the left, maybe even onto one of your props if the floor feels a little far away. And then we'll take the right hand to the right thigh. With an inhale, start to press the chest open towards the right. And you can either stay right here, or if you want, lift the back knee back up off the floor. And then breathe into your twist. Make sure that the left shoulder feels steady, the left wrist, and modify anything else that you need to. All right, take one last inhale. As you exhale, you can bring the right hand down and start to walk the hands towards the left edge of the mat. Turn all 10 toes to the right, and we'll come to set up for a wide-legged forward fold. You might want to have one of your blocks nearby. It might be handy, and you're welcome to stay in a halfway lift shape in the beginning or for the whole thing. If you want to move the hips out a little bit here, or alternate bending the knees or anything like that, then go for it. If you feel ready to come straight into a fold, then choose that. Listen to your body, and if you need to adjust anything, sometimes turning the feet in slightly might make this more comfortable for the hips and the ankles, but see what works best for your body. Awesome. And take an inhale, come to your halfway lift position, and then stay here with the exhale. We're going to transition over to the other foot. So if you want to have a block nearby, take it to the left. And then when you're ready, you can start to walk the hands and turn all 10 toes towards the left, lowering the right knee down and then heel toeing that left foot a little further to the left. And see what you need for this side. Right hand a little bit to the right, maybe left hand to the left thigh. Inhale breath, start to turn the chest open towards the left, and then option to lift the back knee. If the back knee is lifted, that back leg stays active, and then breathe into your shape. Awesome. As you're ready, you can bring the left hand down, coming out of your twist, and then all 10 toes towards the right, and walk your hands about halfway up the mat once again. Your choice here if you want to come back for a wide-legged forward fold, or option to add on a little more for the spine. You might need both blocks for this, one or both. Either way, if you're with me, then you can start to walk the hands over towards the right foot. And you can stay in more of a halfway lift, or maybe you want to hinge the spine and fold a little bit. Your choice if you want the chest to be facing towards the right leg or more towards the floor. See what feels best in your body. You can also bring the hands onto that right foot or the calf, the ankle, the shin. Breathe into your shape. Modify if you need to. Sometimes what happens here as you twist is that left hip starts to sink a little lower than the right. So you can always check in, bring a hand to the low back, and if it feels like it's slanting down, see if you can adjust the hips a little bit. Sometimes it means you need to back out of the shape too. Awesome. And gently release the hands from wherever they are. You can walk them back to center. And then we'll take it over to the second side. If you need to reset anything first, then go for it. And walking the hands over towards the left now. And checking in to see what this side needs. Stay in more of a halfway lift or dip down. Maybe chest more towards the floor or towards the left leg. Embrace the jiggles if they happen. And make sure you're still breathing. Awesome. And gently release the hands once again. Bring the spine back to center. And then walk the hands towards the top of the mat. All 10 toes turn towards the top. And then step back, downward facing dog. We'll take a few breaths here. If you want to rinse that out with a flow or anything like that, then go for it. When you do feel ready, with an inhale, we'll lift the left leg up behind. And then with your exhale, we'll slide the left knee just behind the left wrist, left foot somewhere behind the right wrist, and lower the right knee down. Setting up for pigeon pose here, so you can shift that right knee a little further back behind. If the left hip is floating, then it might be handy to prop it up with a prop. And if it's out of reach, then bring it a little closer. And there's no right way to do this pose, but make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. So if you are feeling something that feels too intense, maybe you can't even breathe deeply here, then feel free to back out any amount. Thread the needle on the back is a nice alternative if you have sensitivity in the knees. And when things feel steady, you might walk the hands in a little closer towards the pelvis, lifting the spine up on top of the pelvis, and checking in here. And then if this feels good, come on in for a fold, bringing the chest towards the floor. Maybe a prop for under the chest or the forehead, or you can stack palms. And quieting down here. And gently start to lift yourself back up onto the hands. Walking the hands in a little bit towards the pelvis. If you have a prop under the left hip, you can remove it. Lower the left hip down to the floor. You can tuck the left foot in closer to the pelvis. And then help the right leg around, stepping the right foot just outside of the left knee. And check in here. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to have the bottom leg extended long down the mat. And if you need a little extra height, you could also use your soft block now to sit off of. And take the right hand behind you, maybe a block if the floor is far away. Reach the left arm high. And take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, twist towards the right. And you can connect the left elbow any way you like towards the right knee, either wrapping it around or bracing. And keep the spine nice and tall, the shoulders a little bit soft. And if you like to take the gaze over the right shoulder, then go for it. Awesome. With an inhale breath, gently unravel back to center and take a counter twist. Awesome. You can release the legs, give them a little shake out, a little tap for the knees. And you can come up off of your prop. And then we'll swing the legs around and come back to downward facing dog. And take a few breaths. You can stand down dog, you can flow, you can cat cow. And check back in with the body, and reconnect with your breath. And take as much time as you need. And when you feel ready, we'll sit up for the second round. And so this time, inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. And then as you exhale, right knee behind the right wrist, right foot behind the left wrist somewhere. Lower the left knee down. This side may feel different, so if the shape doesn't work for you, feel free to find an alternative. And again, you can use your soft block to support the right hip this time. And once you find the shape, you can start to walk the hands a little closer towards the pelvis, bringing your weight a little further back. And then from here, as you're ready, you can start to hinge forward and fold over the front leg, adding in any props you need for support. And if you do start to feel anything painful or pinching or anything like that, then back out as much as you need to. And slowly start to bring the weight back onto the hands. As the spine comes back upright, you can move the soft block if you're using one, dipping that right hip down to the floor, right foot a little closer, and then help the left leg around and step the left foot just outside the right knee. And again, you can stay here, you can extend the right leg forward, you can add some support for the hips. Left hand comes behind, right arm reaches towards the ceiling. Take a deep inhale, and then twist towards the left. Connect the right elbow to the left knee any way you like, and maybe turn the gaze over towards the left. Inhale breath to unravel back to center, and take your counter twist for a couple of breaths. And then returning to midline, you can release the legs, extend them, give them a little shake, a little tap, maybe a little windshield wiper. And then reach for your blocks and just have them nearby. If you're sitting up off of a soft block, you can remove that as well. And then any way you like, come all the way down onto the back. And we'll set up for bridge pose, so you can have the feet roughly underneath the knees, see what feels best for the body, and also find a distance between the feet that feels nice and stable for you. Maybe we'll start off with robot arms, so elbows by the rib cage, fingertips towards the ceiling. And press down the elbows and the shoulders, press down the feet, and with an inhale breath, start to lift the pelvis towards the ceiling any amount. You can stay right here. For more restorative shape, you can also slide the hard blocks underneath the pelvis. If you want more shoulder stretch or chest stretch, you could walk the elbows a little closer together, maybe the option to interlace the hands. And keep the feet anchored down. Keep the belly button nice and high, maybe chin lifts a little bit if you need more room to breathe. Last few deep breaths here. If you have the bind, you can let that go first, and then slowly sequence the spine down to the floor. Once the pelvis touches down, we'll pause for a few breaths. So you might take the feet a little wider to rest the knees together, maybe hands somewhere on the body. Awesome. Only when you feel ready. Heel toe the feet a little bit closer together. If you have your hard blocks, you can take them over towards the right hand side, roughly at hip height, and then scoot the hips over towards the left. We'll extend the right leg long down the mat, and then guide the left knee across the body, maybe to land on the props. And you can stay right here for your twist. If you want to add on, you could think about bending that right knee and then reaching down with the left hand to catch the foot. Any version of a twist will do, so if this isn't working for you, then maybe a two-knee twist will serve you better. If you need to slide a prop onto the left shoulder, if it's having a hard time grounding, that might be helpful too. Once you find your shape, find your stillness here. Be with your breath. Gently release the right foot, let the right leg re-extend, and then slowly unravel the spine, the pelvis, the legs back to center. If you need anything before we set up the second side, then go for it. If the hard blocks were handy, take them over to the left. Hips move over towards the right, left leg can extend, and then guide the right body across the body, or the right knee across the body. Check in to see how this side feels, and the option is there once again to add on the quad stretch, reaching down for that left foot. Taking a few moments to set yourself up, and then finding your stillness as you're ready. Gently release the left foot. Gently release the right leg, bringing everything back to center. And then see what you need here. You could pause with the feet wide and the knees together. You could take a gentle windshield wiper to release the spine. You might bring the knees into the chest and wrap the arms around the shins, and maybe give yourself a rock side to side. If you'd like to take Happy Baby, you can reach between the knees, catch hold of feet, ankles, or shins, feet towards the ceiling, or maybe out in front of you if that's better for the low back. Stillness or movement here. Gently release, and then set yourself up for your Shavasana. Choose any comfortable symmetrical shape. You can have the legs extended. I'm going to choose butterfly legs. So you might join me in that, maybe feet together, knees wide, perhaps resting a heart block underneath each thigh. If for any reason being on your back isn't working, then a seated meditation would be good, or maybe a child's pose, or you can do legs up the wall. Hands can be anywhere on the body or beside it. Take a scan through the body just to notice. Maybe something needs a little attention or a little extra care here. Otherwise, as you're ready, start to soften your breath back to its natural inhale and exhale. Feel the support of the floor as the body starts to get heavy here. Let go as you're ready. Find your rest. Gently deepen the breath to reawaken the body. If the knees are wide, you can use the hands to bring them together, and then maybe extend the legs long down the mat. And give the feet a little rock side to side. It might feel nice to take the arms up the mat. Maybe give the shoulders a little wiggle for the hips, the head. And then roll down to one side wherever you have the most space. Taking a pause for a breath or two. With the support of the arms coming up to any comfortable seated position, and you can use any of the props you have around for support. Take a few moments to settle yourself in. Gently grounding whatever's touching the floor. Gently growing the spine, soft shoulders, long neck. Notice the gentle flow of your breath. As you feel ready, you can connect the hands at the heart and bow the chin in towards the chest. And take a moment to thank yourself for your practice. And thank you for sharing your breath and your energy today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Hatha Practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your week.